Hello everyone, I all hope you had a very, very wonderful, great, blessed morning indeed, guys. As you can see, guys, today's weather is literally completely cloudy, as in totally cloudy, and also very much quietly windy as well. I'm very quietly, I'm sorry for actually shooting up this late. I was quietly still walking my dog with Universe, giving her some time to actually get some fresh air and also to enjoy herself as well, and as well also helping me to actually bond with her more often as well. Despite that, guys, I'm still able to be here as well, and regardless to shoot more episode with you guys. One more thing, guys, I'll be able to upload the entire episode of the entire episode on YouTube for those of you who are actually watching it on YouTube. But for those of you who are actually watching it on TikTok, you'll receive it, and for those of you who are actually watching on Shorts, you'll receive the Shorts today. Regardless of that, guys, I'm so superly grateful for your guys' support. It means completely a lot to me, and I'm very quietly thankful for you guys who are still staying with me on my journey, and for those of you who are also subscribing. It completely means the world and the universe to me. May you all stay safe, and may you all enjoy your blessed holidays and your blessed great weekend. I meant your weekend, your great weekend as well. And may you take care of yourself as well. And also, guys, I love you all so much, and may you enjoy yourself and have a wonderful weekend. I'll also see you on Monday as well. Totally, superly grateful for your guys' support. Have a wonderful weekend. On today's episode, we're to speak about a very powerful, sinister leader known as Iron Brother, known as actually as Iron Brother, who is a very powerful, greater leader, greater, darker, dangerous leader of a monarchy, leader of a very invincible, greater nation, empire known as the I Nation, with the sole goal of conquering many thousand known worlds and planets throughout the entire sacred universes, star systems, and the known worlds, and as well, especially as the sacred countries. He is also he's also a shadowy criminal associate of another criminal organization, which its name and it's also which its true name, and its true name hasn't quite been revealed yet. But he's a very, very powerful, mysterious shadowy ally, and also one of those mysterious shadowy associates who appear in shadowy holographic forms in order to provide greater resources and greater information to the sinister ancient criminal organizations of the ancient super villains societies, of the ancient secret societies of supervillains as well, which he uses them to further their goals in order to further his ancient imagination and his sole mission and goal as well. He was also a previous subordinate and a greater fellow follower of the original Lord of Magic during the ancient times, which he gratefully exactly did not like and did not exactly respect as much. So let's get to it. In Iron Brothers' earliest life, he was quietly trained as a greater prodigy of the Iron Empire when his late father was on the deathbed of the Iron Empire's throne. To that point, they exactly chose him to become the successor and the new leader of the Iron Empire. Iron Brother rose to the occasion. He literally rose to the occasion and ascended. He became a true prodigy and literally began training himself and training himself harder with his greater ingenuity and his greater resources. He was able to exactly find limited, powerful resources beyond the Iron Empire's greater resources by using them to making sure that the Iron Empire managed to control many worlds and clans and many random villages. He even used the Iron Empire to fuel wars, to actually fuel wars and profit from sacred wars and battle that the Shadow Empire began in order for them to have so much control over the sacred worlds, sacred countries, so that he and his people could exactly plunge their influence within the sacred governments, politician of the sacred worlds, supernatural countries and leaders, and of the sacred politicians of the courtroom, so that they have enough influence and control over as much of the sacred countries and worlds within the inner sacred system. By doing so as well, which granted them more access to the Shadow Empire's unlimited dark resources. In the process, Iron Brothers' rule was literally unmatched and unchallenged by his fellow sisters and brothers within his own very nation. By doing so, he led the Iron Empire with a great iron fist and with true great humility and with great, tremendous, great authority than ever before. All the Iron warlords and commanders learned to respect Iron Brother as the sole leader and founder of the Iron Empire. From that day on, Iron Brother led the Iron Empire to greatness and managed to keep it and conceal its entire central headquarters of its island and mysterious and very mysterious shadowy empire, so that it cannot attract unwanted attention to itself, especially with Lord Shadowjack's empire that's also quietly in power, and Dark Master's empire that's also quietly in precisely rising and ascending in power, and especially as well as the Winter King's empire that's also precisely as well also quietly rising in power and ascending in power as well. He did not exactly want to compete with the most powerful, dangerous, elite empires of all sacred histories, which he didn't want to get the attention or attract the attention, especially from the Shadow Empire as well. During the course of him ruling the Iron Empire, he managed to get the attention of the original Lord of Magic, who exactly granted him more resources and also decided to train him in a darker way, which he provided his experience and expertise to hand-in-hand combat and also swordsmanship. Iron Brother exactly accepted the proposition to be trained under the leadership of the original Lord of Magic, but to that point he didn't and not exactly like the original Lord of Magic, and he did not exactly literally love him at all. He had no desire of serving him or even becoming associated with him, but regardless of that, he understood his goals and his mission, which he did not exactly share with him, and to that point he agreed they could not pose a threat to him or to his ruling or to his plans or to his long-term goals and plans in the actual process of his true goals as well. Regardless of that, Iron Brother exactly finished off his training with the original Lord of Magic during the past few centuries. After that, continued on with his goals and with his mission by highly advancing and creating dangerous weaponry for the Iron Empire's fleet, such as the battle cruisers, airship fleet, hot air balloons, the Iron Army soldiers who are heavily equipped with more supernatural powers and greater tactician and battle tanks and battle cruiser ships and battle cruiser ships and greater raiding ships that are used to raid countless sacred magical clans that are quietly scattered within the sacred world's inner fringes, of its sanctum as well, which he uses to stage raids in order to extract all the resources and all the crystals and all the elements so that the Iron Empire would remain formidable. During the course of the many long centuries, Iron Brother received an anonymous invitation from a shadowy group of dangerous ancient shadowy criminals, which was very quietly skeptical of them, and he decided to join forces of them in order to help them with their goals and with their mission, realizing that this group of dangerous shadowy criminals could exactly help him with his goal and with his mission. He decided to exactly intercept them, and he decided to actually meet up with them and agreed that he would want to become part of them as well. With his empire under his sole control, he would provide them unlimited resources and more powerful resources than ever before. And these criminals would also provide him with the endless resources and greater connections and influence that they also possess within the sacred criminal underworld, and especially within the Shadow Empire and within the other shadowy ancient criminal organizations that they've managed to create connections from within their very own border as well. On the actual 20th of February, Iron Brother and the four shadowy associates of and the four shadowy powerful super criminals of associates all exactly convene on an ancient, powerful dark cave that bared a very much mysterious of a waterfall, and statues of monsters and creatures and goblins, or all of the magical monsters and creatures and goblins that were quietly forgotten throughout sacred history's wars and battle. They all exactly attended the meeting in the shadowy holographic forms, as they all exactly told each other they've heard the rumors and the news of the death of the original Lord of Magic. Regardless of that, Iron Brother was quietly disappointed and very much quietly saddened with the death of the original Lord of Magic, even though he didn't quietly love him or quietly shared any emotional tether to him. he still actually shared some sort of relief, but deep down he was quietly saddened with his death, as he told the other members that they will continue to mourn. They will continue to mourn the death of the original Lord of Magic in full secrecy with the organization as well. The other members continue to agree that the death of the original Lord of Magic is a big loss for all of them, that he was more than just a threat, but he was also a great admirer to their goals and also to their associate. Despite that his goals were opposite to their goals, he was still a bigger admirer to them, and he'll always remain as a greater reminder to them, and always remain a greater reminder and a greater symbol to the organization's goals and belief, as they all came to an agreement with that. Iron Brother told the members that it will be time for them soon enough to further their plans after they pass the mourning stage period, which is what they all agreed as well. On the 29th of March, Iron Brother met up with the war generals and war commanders within his iron chambers of his central headquarters of the Iron Empire, where he told the war generals and the war warlords that the planning for them to attack the Shadow Empire or to literally exploit it now would be too risky, with the conflicts between good and evil that are quietly rising and ascending from all over. It will be wise for them to actually remain low in order to keep down, but they'll have to actually use the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders as greater resources for their own, which is what they all agreed on that point as well. On the actual 14th of April, Iron Brother met up with his sisters and brothers within his throne room, as he exactly told them that the preparations and the plans have fully been managed to be released, and all the coordination plans have been able to take place as well on the very day. Iron Sister, one of the Iron princesses exactly told Iron Brother that with the disappearance of the universal heroes, another power vacuum was quietly created due to them actually disappearing, that the Shadow Empire is now going further into chaos and further into turmoil, and finally waging war against itself, which is in a good preparation for them to actually take advantage of the war. As the next Iron Prince exactly told the Iron Brother that they must not exactly take drastic actions, not until they understand the full scope. The other one exactly told them that they must take advantage of the chaos of the Shadow Empire in order to utilize their dark, formidable resources to further their plans and their goals, which is very crucial for the preparations that are about to begin, must actually begin initiated right away. And Iron Brother or Lord Iron began to agree with his siblings on that one as well. On the 10th of May, actually, Iron Brother exactly met up with the Iron Warlords and commanders on another different crystal chamber within the central headquarters of the Iron Empire. We exactly told them that they must exactly find a way to tell the Shadow Empires to all exactly meet up with them, and also to convene with them on the very much different headquarters. One of the Iron Warlords exactly told Iron Brother that he will exactly tell one of the other Shadow Empire warlords and commanders to precisely meet them on their base of coordinates and also on their territory. Iron Brother exactly told them that that'll be very much quietly and wise. Will be rather best if they actually meet up with the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders on their own territory, which will be more of a greater challenge for them, as he completely agreed as the others agreed on that as well. On the 20th of June, Iron Brother exactly met up with the ancient formidable goddess of snakes, which is known as the Witch of Snakes, in her central dark mythical cave of a century that is filled with ancient statues of great snakes and great formation hunter snakes and predecessors and the original predecessors of the great snake's origin, who wielded the power of controlling snake venom and snake venom dark magic at will, where he literally met up with the snake goddess known as the Witch of Snakes as well, as the snake goddess of which exactly told Iron Brother that she will provide him with all the endless expertise and knowledge of how the poisons exactly work. To that end, she exactly showed him her laboratory and her full science laboratory of all the captured dark experiments that are highly kept in stasis, cryogenetic freezing pods, literally in hypersleep. All of them were completely in hypersleep, as in literally asleep in dormant dormant sleep, as in completely physical sleep. In order for them to actually preserve their youth in their bodies, they must remain in dormant hypersleep. They remained a hypersleep for many thousands of years and for many centuries. As the snake goddess, or the goddess of snakes, exactly explained that these test subjects and all these experiments are quietly weapons, and are dangerous weapons, and have never been exactly been used or been controlled for many thousands of years. And she saw to herself and to her followers that they'll only provide the necessary services to the most powerful forces of evil ever existed. Iron Brother was very, very intrigued with all the experiments and with all the unknown weapons and supernatural creatures that are quietly kept in a secretive pause, as he told the goddess of snakes that he would like to have one under his control just to test the theory. The goddess of snakes also provided him, also told him that she'll also provide him with the greater knowledges and texts and forbidden techniques and powers as part of their association together, which has kept their friendship and their association together while working and while quietly recuperating very well. And they shook hands on that one and agreed that they'll always remain friends no matter what. On the 16th of July, Iron Brother exactly reconvened with the other shadowy associates on the dark, shadowy holographic forms on a dark cave, which this time was quietly on a misty cave, and the statues and there was a powerful big ancient monster statue that was quietly so big that they were all exactly wrapped around its hands, and they all exactly reconvened, and some other members were quietly on the statue's monster's hands as they all exactly convened to the meeting. The other members told Iron Brother that they actually done with the mourning period, that it's time for them to move on with the next phase of the plan, meaning to frequently speak with a secret collaborator, which was part of the deal and part of the plan. And Iron Brother began to agree that it's time for them to speak with a literal collaborator, and it's time for them to finalize the next participation, to finalizing the next participation of their plans and of their goals one way or another. They must move forward as well, which they all completely agreed on that. On the 11th, on the actual 11th of August, Iron Brother and the rest of the Iron Warlords met up within the War Chamber, where they were all exactly residing over holograms of worlds and planets within the central headquarters of the Iron Empire's islands, where they all exactly agreed that it's time for them to begin the all-out invasion, one way or another. Iron Brother exactly told the Iron Warlords and commanders that the intergalactic coalition of the Four Nation Hunters is too powerful and too dangerous in order for them to begin a full-scaling invasion. It'll be wise for them to first understand what they're dealing. The other Iron Warlord exactly stand up interruptedly and told Iron Brother that they have waited for too much time, and that it's time for them to take back control of the other known worlds and countries and clans of the sacred worlds and of the sacred universe. One way or another, they must begin the attack without any further hesitation. After that, he left the war chamber. And Iron Brother exactly told the other warlords that they must wait patiently, otherwise his recklessness of this attack will not do any good for them. On the 15th of September, Iron Brother actually met up with a powerful, dangerous Iron Warlord, who was very quietly impatient with his plans, as he met him up on the other island of the Iron Empire space of coordinates, and exactly told him that the attack would be quietly not be wise for them to proceed on. The Iron Warlord exactly told Iron Brother that he will not wait for too long, that he will proceed on with the attack on his own, and he has enough fleet in order to begin the full-scaling invasion and the attack on the other worlds. And all he can do is exactly watch and allow everything to go according to plan, as he told Iron Brother on that day, and that he'll proceed on the attack by himself with the fleet of his forces. After that, he completely left, and Iron Brother completely relished in a smile, as he knew exactly how it's all about to play out. On the 26th of October, Iron Brother was quietly in a dark, shadowy holographic form, as he was speaking to the goddess of snakes, as she created a dark magical orb of an ice spike bubble to watch the battle that the Iron Warlord, who was recklessly impatient with his plans of invasion the other worlds, as he literally continued to invasion the other worlds, and both of the sinister, powerful villains were watching through the magical eye spying bubble within the central headquarters of the Goddess of Snakes, or within the central headquarters of the Goddess of Snakes, as they are both watching the battle as the intergalactic coalition of the Four Nation Hunters miraculously triumphed within a battle and within a war. And that exactly made Iron Brother very pleased to know how the heroes are fully, highly cooperating with one another as well. On the actual day of the 12th of November, Iron Brother reconvened with his other shadowy, powerful associates on a different cave, on a different shadowy, dark cave, and this time on a shadowy holographic form, where they all exactly began to speak about the recent attack that began taking place. The other associates were very happy that it actually did took place, because in doing so, now they actually gain a better understanding of how the Four Nation Hunters of the Intergalactic Coalition actually operates, which is very useful for them and very fruitful for them to using these strategies up against them. And Iron Brother exactly warned his other associates that it would not actually be wise to not to underestimate the universal heroes' abilities in thwarting the operation and the long-term plan, as the other forces of evil and the sinister criminals, ancient criminals and powerful villains and alien warlords have managed to complain about their greatest defeat over these powerful, formidable heroes who killed the Lord of Magic. Meaning, in other words, it won't be wise not to underestimate them, and especially not to undermine them, as they all agreed on that. After their last meeting, they never exactly met throughout the entire month of December. They kept to themselves with the operation. Iron Brother continued to rule the Iron Nation with the Iron Fist and all of that the entire month of December as well, and as well the entire year of January. They never exactly spoken as they continue to rule. They separate as each associate continued to ruling. They separate worlds or countries or other ancient nations or worlds or planets or civilizations or followers or leaders, controlling them as well, as they never actually spoken or ever actually reconvene again. On the 20th of February, Iron Brother exactly met up with the reckless Iron Warlord on where he was able to appear on his throne room, and was able to tell the Iron Brother that he was precisely right about the attack, and that he has learned the hard way that the enemies can never be underestimated, that this time he will take a different approach in a very different way, not to repeat his failings ever again. And Iron Brother told the Iron Warlord that he completely forgives him, that he was quietly reckless and also quietly impatient with the planning and with the attacking, that for that he'll give him a second chance to redeem himself by providing him with the resources that he was managed to acquire from inside the Astral Prison, which he was sentenced from. And the Iron Warlord relishes as he told him that he will provide him. That is what he seeks, and that is what he shall receive as well. On the 14th of March, Iron Brother actually exactly met up with the group of dark, formidable witches on the central headquarters, which was a powerful dark crystal temple, and exactly told them that he needs the resources and the greater expertise and the powers and a great driven dark magic expertise, which would be very useful for him and very crucial for him to furthering his ultimate plan and goal in the process. The dark witches wanted to know that what he's willing to do in order to give them what they want. Iron Brother exactly told the dark witches that he's willing to provide them with endless, unlimited resources and greater power than ever before, which is what they're willing to get as part of their deal and part of the agreement. The dark witches agreed that they'll actually aid him in giving him unlimited dark resources with the dark magical powers of the dark gods and all of that, and they'll also provide him with a group of powerful dark magic users known as the Dark Druids and the Dark Witches and the Dark Faithful to serve his empire, just as a way to show that they fully trust in him, and they fully actually literally honor their new agreement and the sacred pact they made all these centuries ago with his predecessors and with his ancestors. After that, Iron Brother shook hands with the leader of the Dark Witches and was very completely happy that things are still exactly the same way they're supposed to be. On the 21st of April, Iron Brother exactly met up with the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders on the Shadow Empire, on the Shadow Empire's darkest and most powerful crystal dark temple within the sacred lands of the Shadow Empire, within the sacred lands, within the sacred worlds and lands of the Shadow Empire that were quietly conquered many centuries ago, many millennia ago, before the reign and ruling of the original Lord of Magic actually took control of it as well by their ancestors as well. This time, the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders told Iron Brother that they're willing to provide him with more technology and greater resources than ever before, and they actually crucially warned him again that it would be wise not to underestimate the universal heroes and the universal founders and the Four Nation Hunters of the Intergalactic Coalition, and especially the Alliance. They pose too much of a threat, and their abilities are way too powerful, as they've seen that in real action with their predecessors and with their forces confronting them head on. Iron Brother completely agreed that he won't exactly make that mistake, as their association will remain a top secret to themselves, and that he will not jeopardize the planning and the goals that he has already managed to implement on his own. After that, they all agreed that they'll supply each other with endless power and with endless resources as part of a new pact, which they actually made now. On the 25 of May, the Iron Brother was able to create a holographic shadow projection of himself with the other members who also did the exact same thing on an ancient cave, this time on a very dark cave, and all the holographic shadows were the ones actually able to be seen through a very much orange light that was quietly flickering within the cave, and the other members were quietly present as well. As they discussed the final preparation, stating to them that they have a new enforcer of the organization, and of the group who's willing to aid them and willing to supply them with endless power. And they have a new member on the group as well who's willing to make sure that the organization's goals and mission begin finally taking place. Now that everything else is set, they can finally begin utilizing the resources and launching the campaign against the universal heroes once and for all. Iron Brother exactly told the other members that it would be wise for them to actually wait for the right time in order for the plan to take place. But he told the other members that it's time for them to begin the steps of their plans and of their goals effective immediately, which will be very crucial for them to begin the actual planning. They all came to agreement on that as well. On the actual 12th of July, Iron Brother exactly met up with the Dark King on the central headquarters of the Founders, who was quietly staring at the landscape of the mountains of his central headquarters, as the Dark King, who is the founder and leader of the ancient secret society of supervillains known as the Founders, which is another shadowy criminal organization that has a different goal and a different objectivity with its sole goal and purpose as well. The Dark King exactly told Iron Brother that his people have been allies since the very centuries and for many years ago, and they're fully well aware of each other's goals and missions that are very quietly different. Regardless of that, their imaginations will finally bear fruit as well. Iron Brother exactly shook hands with the Dark King and told him that the Founders will always remain associates to his organization and to his group as well, as they all are each other's associates and they'll all remain friends, supplying each other with unlimited resources of each other's connections and influence, which is what the Dark King began to agree on that as well. On the 20th of July, the Iron Brother remained on the throne room and listening to all the Iron Warlords and Commanders planning the next strategy of attacking and the next implementation of the fleet's coordination, and also planning of everything else, as he told them that the plans are quietly good, but they must be well aware of the Four Nation Hunters of the Intergalactic Coalition's planning and resources are very too dangerous and also very too risky, which will be wise for them to plan the strategies of wars amongst themselves without him to be present, meaning in other words, they will be the ones taking charge of the operation and making sure that the invasion of the other worlds begin taking place on its own accord. as the other Iron Warlords begin to agree that they be given the most ultimate position to leading the invasions of the other countries and worlds on their own, which made them very much happy that they'll begin making sure that the Iron Empire rises to full ascendancy in power as well. On the 10th of August, Iron Brother was able to create a shadowy holographic projection of himself within the ancient cave of the Goddess of Snakes. Actually, he told the Goddess of Snakes that everything else is ready and that her research were very crucial, that she actually has it in his best interest as well. The Goddess of Snakes actually told Iron Brother that she will provide him with endless topical resources and also with the greatest soldiers and weapons at her disposal. After that, they completely agreed on that they do share common interests, which will be very fruitful for their great plans as well. On the 28th of September, Iron Brother and the other members of the shadowy criminal organization began creating powerful shadowy gothic holographic shadowy projections of themselves, where they all exactly convene on an ancient dark cave as well, which the base of the coordinates are quietly undisclosed and unknown as well. Regardless of that, they told Iron Brother of searching for these powerful dark creatures, which will be very fruitful for them to harness their power and their capabilities before the universal magic heroes thought their plans in obtaining their power in order to amplify their powers and abilities, which would be very useful for their powers to be highly efficiently, highly strong, and highly immobile when they go into battle against these efficient superheroes who are deadly and very powerful and very persistent with their missions and their goals. Iron Brother agreed that it's time for them to begin Project Omega, which will be very crucial for it to taking place on its true objectivity as well. On the 14th of October, Iron Brother met up with the Dark Druids and Dark Witches and Dark Faithful on the Dark Crystal Temple, which was within the other dark worlds and planets, as he had told them that he needs the expertise and knowledge of finding powerful dark creatures which contain great dark powers, which could help him amplify his abilities and also his magic in a very much process, making him powerful and also dangerous. The Dark Druids told him that they know all about the dark forces and all about the dark magical substance, energies, creatures, and all of that exists within the sacred magic universe, and they will help him harness their powers and their abilities as long as they serve the Iron Empire. After that, he was very relieved that he will obtain more power and more control than ever before. On the 19th of October, Iron Brother exactly created a video audience of himself within the Dark King Central headquarters, and told them that the preparations have been set, everything else is ready to go, meaning that all the preparations now can go the way they have to be going without any further due process, meaning that the process of the planning can now begin taking place, and the sole control of the known universe will fall to the founders and to his associate by stripping down the Shadow Empire's power and by crippling its resources efficiently would make them the most powerful, high-ranking leaders of the sacred countries and of the sacred worlds, and the universal prince and the star prince and the other ancient criminal shadowy elite criminal organizations would not even stand a chance against their power and capacity by having so much influence and control over the known world, and especially against Lord Boy and Lord Jet and Lord Clay's organizations. Don't be able to compete up with them. And the Dark King was very pleased that the plans are now beginning to take place as well. Despite this, guys, Iron Brother or Lord Iron is very, very powerful and extremely immortal and very dangerous and very much unpredictable. According to the Formation Hunters, Iron Brother is one of the worst sinister ancient threats that they've ever encountered, that their ancestors and predecessors fought many centuries ago with his ancestors and his people, who learned the hard way that they are very relentlessly ruthless, persistent, and very agitated by the bloody thirst of blood, by looking for, they're literally fueled by their blood thirst for wanting more blood and for wanting more destruction due to their appetite of them getting very hungry, and they're so persistent. Iron Brother is the greatest exception of his people. He's very patient with his goals, very observant, very open-minded, very highly intelligent, 12 level intellect, very skilled in marksmanship, hand-to-hand combat, bow and archery, and also super strength, super speed, telepathy, mind controlling, manipulation, deception, projecting a dark, shadowy holographic form of himself as well. Very skilled in manipulating dark magical matter at will. The power of summoning, the power of conjuring, the power of resurrection, and the power of teleportation, which has been granted to him as well. And with the access of granted with the access of interdimensional traveling to other distant dimensions and worlds and planets and civilization throughout the sacred dimensions of the sacred world and of the sacred universe as well. He's very powerful, very strategic, very organized, and very dangerous and very dark and mysterious super villain, a powerful monarchy and a founder and a leader of the Iron Empire. After his ancestors ruled and founded the Iron Empire, and after the death of his father, he rose to the occasion to be proven to be worthy to lead the Iron Empire. He's so determined and very much has a dark ambition and a very dark desire to rule the entire sacred magic universe and the entire sacred world and the rest of the Four Nation Hunter worlds, alien worlds, cities, planets, civilization, and especially by combining his resources with deadly, powerful ancient criminals who also aid him with his respective goals, and he also believes on their respective goals and mission, and is willing to join forces and collaborate with the other Shadow Empire warlords and commanders to utilize their resources for his goals and for his top 10 plans for sole universal domination. He's very good in masking his greatest ability and hiding his infinite powers and greater omega abilities on a very down low, due to him being a high profile sacred super criminal known to the rest of sacred history. He's very good at using that reputation in order to keep his empire and the organization that he's working with a top secret and within the shadows of the sacred world in order for it to remain within the shadows. And he's very quietly good in literally maintaining disguises, granting the power of shapeshifting and the power of transforming into a monster or summoning hideous beings and creatures and unknown creatures of people and monsters from other dimensions to fight for his battle. He's very top granted omega super villain beyond his father's greatest ability, which his father's ability could never actually compare to his son's ability and to his daughter's, which makes him the top class omega powerful super ancient villain. He was also to be rumored to be the great next reincarnation of the great sacred founders of the sacred founders of the sacred world, and also to be rumored to be the next reincarnation of the original Lord of Magic, which is why he possesses greater power. He's very good in maintaining his usual bases of operation, such as his central headquarters, which is the Iron Empires, which is the great Iron Empire's islands and worlds and home worlds and planets and civilization, which he uses it in order to communicate with his allies and with his forces as well. Very masterful and very clever and 12 level intellect, super intelligent and very powerful, a super strategist and a super tactician, forming alliances with one of the dangerous, powerful, shadowy, ancient, elite criminal groups in order for them to join forces and to collaborate together to utilizing each other's resources for their common goal and for their common interest. He's very open-minded about the criminal groups he joins up with, and he's managed to form a formidable, long-lasting friendship with the ancient supervillain known as the Dark King, who is also a founder and a leader of an ancient secret society of supervillains known as the Founders, with the sole goal of ruling and controlling the sacred universe and humanity and the known universe in the process to furthering their ultimate plans and their goals. He also utilizes the goals of the Founders, also utilizes the resources of the Founders in order to put them to greater much use to furthering his plans and his goals as well. He's very noble and very honorable supervillain and very patient with his plans, super smart and very good, a high-ranking member of a shadowy criminal organization which is unknown yet but he's a very dangerous, deadly member who's meant to not to be underestimated. He learns from the other sinister foes and villains who have clashed with the universal heroes that they can never underestimate their abilities and their powers in thwarting their plans and their operation. And he learns from his failures to never repeat them again. He's extremely immortal, with due to his own gravity. He believes that he and his forces and his associates and his people are destined to controlling and having sole total control over sacred clans, sacred countries, and other known worlds and known universe throughout the entire sacred world and throughout the entire known universe as well, especially by influencing humanity within the course of manipulating conflicts, wars, and events of the sacred world's wars and events through the process to furthering his ultimate goal and plan, making sure that the people of the Iron Empire are the one ruling the entire sacred universe and the sacred countries and known worlds. He possesses tremendous greater influence and connections throughout the sacred criminal underworld with these shadowy confederates of associates of dangerous ancient criminals, which they combine their intellects and their geniuses all together and utilize each other's powers and abilities and expertise and talents all together in order to making sure that the organization remains top of a shadowy criminal ancient organization that remains within the shadows and that operates within the shadows. He's very competitive against the Order of the 12, the Order of the 5, Order of the 6, the Galactic, the Code of Nature, and the Order of the 4, Sinister Magic, and the other sinister, shadowy criminal organization that think they also can rule the entire sacred universe. But he keeps to himself and he controls himself very, very, very quietly, greatly, and he holds himself very quietly well, very patient, highly observant, highly skillful, and very, very determined to ruling the entire sacred countries and the rest of the sacred worlds and known universes in the process. Very, very ambitious and very powerful, not meant to be underestimated, especially by when he literally secretly forms other secretive alliances with ancient dark witches who decided to aid him with his goal, and he decided to aid them with their goal and forming a formidable, long-lasting friendship with the ancient witch of snakes, known as a goddess of snakes, who has become more than a greater friend to him during the earlier childhoods, which they used each other's resources to further their plans and their goals in the process, believing that they'll become the kings and queens of the sacred countries and of the sacred world, which is why they're willing to do whatever it takes to ending all wars and controlling the sacred universe and the sacred countries in the process, to capitalizing it from within the shadows and by manipulating the events and wars and battles that have been caused by the Four Nation Hunters, which is willing to destroy and wipe out, especially with the universal heroes and the universal founders who become the allies of these ancient Four Nation Hunters in the process as well. He also very quietly felt deeply saddened by the death of the original Lord of Magic, but he didn't like him or anything, but he viewed him as a godlike figure. He did not share his beliefs or his goals or his ideals, but regardless of that, he literally still admired him and still believed in him, that he was the one to bring about all destruction and peace, and he's willing to carry out his legacy in spirit rather than through real life, in order to making sure that the goals of his people and the goals of the organization that he's managed to forming alliance with and joining and becoming a high-ranking member of the other shadowy criminal organizations also successfully bears fruit in the long-term plan. Very powerful, sinister, mysterious, and very ancient. They are ancient, powerful paintings and markings of the Iron people within the Iron Islands, within the Iron Islands and temples that the Iron Empire manages to rule and conquer so far so badly, about their origin, which only has secretive details and facts about how they were actually born and raised and how they possess infinite power, that their ancestors and their predecessors became the most powerful, sufficient beings ever before, which explains why the Iron Empire remains in full shadows and operates within the full shadows of the sacred universe, which it doesn't exactly compete against the Shadow Empire, the Winter Empire, Dark Master's Empire, Lord Shadowjack's Empire, and the other secretive empires of the on the other secretive empires of the sacred universe and of the known universe as well. Very committed to his goal, highly observant, very dangerous, and very, very highly skilled in deception. Not meant to be underestimated. Well, guys, that's it for today's episode. I all hope you have a wonderful, blessed, great weekend. I appreciate your guys' support in subscribing to my channel and to viewing all of my episodes as well. I all hope you enjoy your weekend and you'll have a blessed day as well. Love you guys, and also continue to subscribing and also watching. I appreciate it. It means a lot to me. May God bless you all, and may you all take care of yourself. See you on Monday. Bye. Bye. Bye.